In today's lecture, we will see how to determine CD for rectangular and triangular notch. This experiment is prescribed for fourth semester students under the laboratory fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines as per VTU. So we will first see what a notch is. So notch is nothing but it's an opening in the side of any measuring tank or a reservoir which is extending above the free surface. So notches are typically used to measure the discharge in any open channel flows by passing or placing or constructing them across the string. So either you can find them in open channel flows. So a typical notch that you would have seen will be the weir. So notches are generally used for measuring discharge in small open channels or laboratory flumes. So it can be having different shapes such as triangular, rectangular, trapezoidal, step notch, etc. And the bottom of the notch over which the water flows is known as the crusted seal, and the thin sheet of water that is flowing through notch is known as nappe or vein. Okay, so the crusted seal is nothing but the bottom of the notch wherein the water flows. Okay, and the thin sheet of water that is just flowing over the notch is known as nappe or vein. So these two terms are important for any civil engineer. So we will see what is the practical application of the notch. So it is mainly used to regulate and measure the discharge in irrigation project. So you might have seen like how much water has to be given for each location or for each irrigation sites. So to measure how much discharge can be given, we use this notches. So to compute the discharge, you know the typical equation. So you have a constant like CD. So that constant CD has to be determined, and then that CD is being put in the equation to get the discharge. So the equation will be discussed in the later part of the video. So these are the typical examples for the notches. You have the rectangular weir, the contracted weir, the spiloty weir, and then the V-notch weir. So notches are commonly used to control the flow rates of the rivers during periods of high discharge. Then the sluice gates can be altered. So whenever there is any flood, possibility of flood, you listen to news that sluice gate is being lifted up or sluice gate is being closed. So that is can be altered to increase or decrease the volume of the water that is flowing through the downstream. So thank you for listening.
Welcome one and all to the online learning platform at Department of Civil Engineering, BMS Institute of Technology and Management, Bangalore. I'm Dr. Rajesh Gopinath. Along with me is Mr. Vinod Br, and we are in the Fluid Mechanics Lab. In today's session, we shall be discussing about calibration of notches. In the previous theoretical conceptual session, you have understood that notches, just like weirs, they serve the purpose of measuring large amount of discharging open channels. So I can say that a notch can be defined as an opening at the end of an open channel. So let's now look at an open channel. So we are simulating that this entire structure is as same as an open channel. So this is the open channel that we are simulating for this experiment. Okay, so at the end of the open channel, what do you have? You should have a notch. Now let's look at the end of the open channel, what we have. Basically, we can have different type of notches. Alright, V-notch, rectangular notch and trapezoidal notch. That is with respect to the geometrical shapes. So here now you are looking at a trapezoidal notch. Based on the angle, you may also consider it as a spiloty notch. Now let's look at a V notch. So if I remove this and keep this in its place, you basically have a V notch, and this is a 90-degree V notch. So I can do the same experiment. All I have to do is remove this notch and keep this notch. So based on the shape, this is a rectangular notch. So what have you understood till now? What is a notch? Where do you attach the notch? Okay, now let us move further with the different parts. So this is the open channel, as I told you. So what is this? This is basically a point gauge. So if you observe very carefully, the tip of this is a point. This is used for determining the change in head of water, and we do that with the help of this knob. All right. Now this is the second one, which is basically with respect to determining the actual dimensions. So one knob helps in moving the point gauge, and the other knob helps us with respect to the rise in water, with respect to quantifying it. Okay, so this is the open channel. What do you see in this open channel? You can see baffles. So why do we have baffles? To make sure that the water which is entering, which is in a turbulent manner, can be streamlined or can be made laminar or have a uniform flow characteristics. For hence we use a baffle. What are the other parts of this experimental setup? Obviously you have a sump which stores the water. Okay, so this is a sump or a sink from where the water is stored, and above this sump you have the collecting tank. Okay, so there is a regulatory wall. Based on the movement of this, either the water is collected here or the water is decamped into the sump. This is a piezometer which helps us to understand what is the rise in water level inside the collecting tank. Okay, if we move a little more further, we can see that the sump has been connected to a motor and centrifugal pump arrangement, so wherein the water can be pumped out. Okay, now that you are having a sink, you are looking at the sump which contains water. Please note, this water may contain impurities, may contain sediments, silt and gravel, and we cannot allow them to enter the pipe or the pump or the open channel and impair the experiment. So you can see that there is a pipe which has a strainer attached to it. That strainer will not allow any impurities to enter the pump. So next you can see the pump. Okay, you can see a blue pipe. The water from the pump to enter the open channel has to go through this pipe. There is a regulatory gate valve. So this gate valve will assist in determining the variable flow rate for which you set the experiment. Okay, so water enters from this pipe into the open channel, and then with respect to this, you already are aware of the varying parts: baffle, the point gauge and the notch. So my dear friends, this is the experimental setup for the experiment on calibration on V-notch, calibration of trapezoidal notch, calibration of rectangular notch. All you need to do is, you need to replace the notch at the end of the open channel as I showed you in the beginning. So we are done with the experimental setup. Thank you. Welcome back, friends. This is the online learning platform at Department of Civil Engineering, BMS Institute of Technology and Management. I am Rajesh Gopinath. Along with me is Mr. Vinod Biyar, and we are the course coordinators today for you with respect to the fluid mechanics lab. So in the previous video, we had explained to you the experimental setup for calibration of notches. In this session, in this presentation, I will take you through how to actually carry out the experiment. Please remember, once we switch on the instrument, due to the noise, you will not be able to hear my instructions. Therefore, this presentation is a walkthrough, which means I will take you through the entire experiment without switching on the instrument. Okay, so it's a walkthrough. In the subsequent presentation, the actual conduction will be shown to you. So kindly listen very carefully and follow my hand movements. Step number 1, you need to make sure that there is water in the sump. Okay. Step number 2, you have to make sure that your pump has been primed. Right? With these precautionary measures in place, now let us start the experiment. Okay. First things first, you need to switch on the instrument. Alright. So when you switch on this instrument by pressing this green button, the motor gets switched on and the water which is in the sump will be sucked via the pipe through the pump. Okay. And the water will be transported in this manner to the open channel. Here what you have to make sure is your gate valve has been opened. Okay, while doing the experiment, you can do it in an ascending manner or a descending manner, but for starting this experiment, you have to open at least for a turn so that water can actually flow. Okay, so for given any turn, for given any number of turn, let us say the water is entering. the open channel. So the water enters open channel. Here it will be extremely turbulent, okay, depending on the flow rate. But as it passes through one baffle to another baffle, due to the obstruction, the flow becomes laminar or streamlined. Okay, so generally the water which is eventually coming to this part of the open channel would be having uniform characteristics. Finally, what is going to happen? The water is going to reach end of the open channel. From the end of the open channel, the water is going to actually flow out. Okay, now this is the sill of your notch. When the water is flowing out, okay, that flow is called as nappe. What you have to do is, when the water is flowing, when the water starts overflowing from the notch, you need to switch on the instrument. You have to go back to the red button. Go to this red button, switch it off. What happens when you switch it off? There is no more pumping of water, no more water enters open channel, and water which is in open channel will continue to flow out until it reaches the sill or crest. Okay, once this has happened, once there is no more water flowing out, what you need to do is, you have to go to the point gauge. Okay, you have to use the first knob, okay, and you need to move it to make sure that this touches the water level. The point gauge must touch the water level. Once it is touched, close the knob, tighten it. Okay, then second step is, you have to move this measuring scale to map to 0, 0. So it is 0 to 0. So right now the reading in your open channel is 0, 0 centimeters. Of course, the conversion to meters you will understand in the analysis video. With this setup ready, you are ready to continue with the experiment. Okay, now what do? You have to switch on the instrument once again, and then you need to change the flow rate. So let us say I have switched on the instrument with the green button. I will come back here. I will increase the flow rate. For individual flow rates, water enters, water comes to open channel, water flows out. What we need to do is, for every turn, for every variable turn you do, for each turn you have to make sure that you take the reading here. How do you do it? For as the flow rate changes, the quantity of water will increase. Okay, quantity of water increases and water will start basically overflowing from the open channel into the collecting tank. Okay, it will actually overflow from the open channel through the notch into the collecting tank. So what is that you should take? You should take two readings. The reading number one is point gauge. Let us say the water level has increased. Let us imagine the water level is here. So you have to move the point gauge and fit it. Okay, so let us say it is here. Now what has happened is, your point gauge has risen. Obviously, this reading has also changed. You must note down this reading, that is where 0 is matching. So for instance, let us say this is at 1.9 centimeters. Okay, that means water has risen in the open channel by 1.9 centimeters. So for every turn of your regulatory valve, gate valve, okay, this reading is going to change. So what is the other reading you should take? After taking this reading, you must come to the collecting tank. Okay, now you have to use this the valve, to make sure that you can close the opening. Once you do that, any water which enters will start collecting in this tank. When the water starts collecting in this tank, the same is indicated in the piezometer. Here you are supposed to do two things. One is, you can use constant head variable time or constant time variable head. For example, for 10 seconds how much water rises, or for 10 centimeters how much time is taken. So for every turn of your gate valve, okay, you have to understand what is the time taken each time for a particular turn, how much water rises. Okay, so my dear friends, the entire experiment has to be done for variable turns. For each turn, take a reading of point gauge, take a reading of the piezometer. Please remember, more the iterations, the human error and the instrumental error will be reduced. So I hope you understood the walkthrough, that is how to actually do this experiment. In the next video, we will do a live demonstration for you. Thank you. Welcome back to the online learning platform at Department of Civil Engineering, BMS Institute of Technology and Management. I am Dr. Rajesh Gopinath. I am along with Mr. Vinod Biyar. We are in the Fluid Mechanics Lab, and for today's presentation we will be taking you through to the actual conduction of the experiment on calibration of notches. Alright, please note, in the previous videos we have actually explained to you how to carry it out. In this video we are going to switch on the instrument. Obviously, due to the noise generated, you won't be able to hear any explanations, so please refer to the previous videos to understand how to carry out the actual experiment. Okay, please note that as a brief introduction, once I switch on the instrument, I'll be playing with two factors. One is variable flow rate, which is with respect to this gate valve. I will be carrying out the entire experiment for either increasing the number of turns or reducing the number of turns. Okay, so depending on which, the flow rate will alter. Water enters the open channel, and once it enters the open channel, I'll be taking two readings, the reading in the point gauge and the reading in the piezometer. Okay, this is just a simple recap for you. Let us start the experiment. So friends, as I told you, the water has started flowing. Now what we need to do is, we need to wait until the water stops flowing. That is, once the channel has accumulated water up to the sill level. Until then you have to wait. Okay. So friends, you can see that the flow has stopped. Now the water is collected in the channel up to the crest or sill of the notch. What are we going to do now? The first step, we are going to use this knob, okay, and make the point gauge touch the water level. Once it touches, you close the knob, okay. Second step, you need to bring this to 0, 0. So we have understood that for the existing water head, existing water level, the point gauge is touching the water and the gradation is 0, 0. Okay, now next step, again I'll switch on the instrument. I'll be changing the flow rates. Water level is going to change, and I'm going to subsequently take the new readings in the point gauge. Okay.
Good morning, students. You would have seen the previous video of the calibration of notch, both the triangular or V notch and the rectangular notch. You would have seen the experimental setup and how the readings were taken. In this video, we will be discussing how the tabulation and calculation of coefficient of discharge, CD, for both the V notch and the rectangular notch is done. Coming to the tabulation, we require certain observations which include area of the collecting tank to be recorded in square meters, the rise of water level in the measuring tank, usually taken as 10 centimeter rise, so recorded as 0.1 meter, the angle of the notch. We are using a 90-degree V notch, but for any other angle, the angle has to be taken accordingly. The breadth of the rectangular notch, that gives you the value of the breadth of the notch to be included in the formula to calculate the theoretical discharge. The least count of the hook gauge that is being used to record the head over the notch. Formulae that are being used are actual discharge A into H divided by T, where A is the area of the collecting tank, H is the rise of water in the collecting tank, and T is the time for rise of water in the collecting tank. Theoretical discharge formulae for V notch and rectangular notch are different. For the V notch, it is 8 by 15 root 2g tan theta by 2 h raised to 5 by 2. For the rectangular notch, it is 2 by 3 root 2g b into h raised to 3 by 2, where b is the breadth of the notch that is being taken. The coefficient of discharge is calculated as CD equals Q actual by Q theoretical. For the tabulation, one reading each of the V notch and the rectangular notch are shown. The initial hook gauge reading fixed at the crest of the notch, which is recorded as 00. The final hook gauge reading at the water level for a particular discharge, where the hook gauge is touching the surface of the water level. The head over the notch is taken as H2 minus H1 and divided by 100 to convert it into meters. The time taken for 10 centimeter rise of water in the collecting tank for a given discharge is recorded as T seconds. The actual discharge is calculated with the formula shown in the previous slide. The theoretical discharge for the V notch is also calculated with the formula given in the previous slide. Coefficient of discharge taken as Q actual divided by Q theoretical. For this example of V notch, the value obtained was 0.6. For the rectangular notch, similarly, we have the initial hook gauge reading set as 0 at the crest level. The final hook gauge for the given discharge taken, the top surface of water. The head over the notch measured in meters. The time taken for 10 centimeter rise of water. The actual discharge and the theoretical discharge based on the expressions discussed in the previous slide. The coefficient of discharge for this particular example works out as 0.64. So the calculations done for Q actual, Q theoretical, and CD are shown here. Area of the collecting tank was taken as 0.12 meter square, rise of water 0.1 meter. The triangular notch was of 90-degree angle. The breadth of the rectangular notch for the equation for theoretical discharge was taken as 0.05 meters. By substituting the value of Q actual A into H by T, the value obtained was 1.06 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube per second, and the Q theoretical value was obtained as 1.83 into 10 raised to minus 3. CD worked out as 0.6. For the rectangular notch, substituting the values as obtained in the experiment process, the value of CD was obtained as 0.64. So whether for the triangular notch or the rectangular notch, different trials can be done with various discharges, and the CDs that are obtained for the various discharges can be calculated, and the average CD can be used for the result. This can also be done in a graphical method to compute the value of n in the expression for the equations that are given, both for the V notch and the rectangular notch. So if a graph is plotted with log h versus log q, the slope of the line should give you the value of n. So two sample graphs are recorded here, one for the rectangular notch and one for the V notch, where the value of n is shown for both V and the rectangular notch. Thank you.